Okay, England were playing France in the second match today in the Rugby League World Cup at the University of Bolton Stadium. It's finished 42 points to 18 to England. They were leading 18-12 at half-time. And the first 24 minutes, England blew France off the field. It was almost a carbon copy of the match against Samoa. And then they lost focus and they lost intensity. And France got back in the game. And that is the concern, is that they couldn't keep up that level of intensity and focus. They made silly errors, gave away six again tackle counts, a few silly penalties, a few handling errors, and the French only need a half chance to score points, and they've got the individual talent to do that. But let's break down the game. So England start on the front foot very early on, and the French are on the back foot. It's all about that speed of the play, the ball territory, which England dominated in this game, possession, and Ryan Hall scores 2 tries in the first 11 minutes. Now, I found it very interesting that they didn't go to Dom Young with kicks, with his height advantage over his opposite winger, and Ryan Hall being not as good in the air as Dominic Young. It was more Herbie Farnsworth challenging for the kicks, and then Ryan Hall picking up that second phase play. However, 2 tries in 11 minutes. He's now got 37 tries for England in 39 appearances, so he extends his try scoring record. I wouldn't be surprised if Ryan Hall gets a run out against Greece. I really wouldn't be surprised. He's not the player he was. Obviously, Makinson is ahead of him. I think Jermaine McGilvery is still, slightly ahead of him in the pecking order now as well. Of course, you've got Dom Young on the other wings, who can play on either wing, which is a good thing to have, but he's still a very, very good try scorer. He's had a very decent return after his brief stint in the NRL, where he wasn't fully fit. We know he was having knee problems. However, I do believe his stint in the NRL has actually prolonged his career because of the training techniques, the fact he wasn't played in every game, so he had more rest time, and training and playing with a slightly higher quality of competition, I think, has benefited Ryan Hall, and that he's still plugging away in his 30s. He is a veteran player. He's a great player to have around the squad, and he deserved his 2 tries today, not only for his finishing, but his carries out of back play. And he wasn't challenged defensively, which is a weakness of Ryan Hall's game. He wasn't exposed defensively because the French didn't go down his channel enough. When they did have the ball, they were more happy to go up the middle and have quick play the balls when they had possession. They didn't challenge Ryan Hall defensively, so maybe that could be a weakness other teams exploit later on in the tournament. Luke Thompson's try in 24 minutes, that's all created by Victor Radley and his vision, using John Bateman as a decoy with the eyes, with the ball, and then soft hands. Victor Radley makes a half break, and then Luke Thompson, for a prop, he's quick. And he hasn't had the best stint in the NRL so far with the Canterbury Bulldogs. He hasn't been fully fit. He's had a few suspensions. The Bulldogs haven't been a dominant forward pack, and they haven't been a winning team with a winning record. So he's been playing on a Bulldog side that's in a rebuild, so maybe the confidence is a little bit low. However, some of his teammates at club level have played very well for Australia, and that may raise his game next season when he goes back to the Bulldogs next season. And he's had a very, very good game. He's had a very good impact in both games so far. He fully deserved his try in 24 minutes. That is great support play. Sneed got every single conversion today off the tee. He had a very, very good game. And then the intensity drops. So they're 18-0 up. They're in control. And then they allow the French into their half. And in the 3 times they went into the English 20, they got 2 tries. So Artur Morg's try is created from something from nothing. Artur Morg can do that. He's a very, very talented, young, raw halfback. But that was his kick through, and he's the only player going for off the ricochet, following through. England switch off. The other French players aren't sure what Artur Morg's going to do. He's had a very good tournament so far. He scores his try in 29 minutes, and then the French wake up. The Pelissier try, that is very soft. It's a barge over. He is an agitator. He is an irritant. But Eloy Pelissier, he's a very, very good dummy half. He can also play in the halves as well. He is an irritant, as I say. But my God, he brought energy to the French when he came on. His try was scored in 32 minutes. Artur Morg gets all 3 of his conversions today. So both goal kickers were brilliant off with the kicking boots today. And then the game is now in the balance. The French have got the energy. England look a little bit shell-shocked that they've lost that intensity, they've lost that focus, and they are being challenged, and they're having to make more tackles. They're not having that dominant field position anymore. They're being a bit sloppy in possession, penalties, and the French are up for the contest. Then the second half comes, And Elliot Whitehead, again, Victor Radley creates that try as well. And that, again, great support playing Elliot Whitehead and John Bateman as well. Radley and Bateman. Bateman, look, he can play in the backs. He's a great back row forward as well. He's a prickly character. He's an irritant. And he was full of energy. And Elliot Whitehead, that's an old Canberra combination, the Raiders. That's a brilliant try in 45 minutes. And that swings the momentum back England's way. The Victor Radley try, fully deserved by Victor Radley. He had a very, very good game. Look, he just makes sure he wins the possession. The kick through by Ackers is a cheeky kick through. The French are saying he's offside. He's not. He's just onside. He times his run, and that's a soft try to concede. But Victor Radley fully deserved that. Look, it's Australia's loss is England's gain, but how do you fit him into the Australian side at the moment? That's another one. But he's decided to follow and join the England setup because of his father and his heritage. That's fine. Victor Radley, again, another irritant, another energy guy. He had a very, very good game. And a very tidy game. Sometimes he can allow the emotion of the game to get better of him. He can give away silly penalties, be put on report, get sin bin. He was very controlled today, very good with the soft hands. And then Dominic Young steals the show. Dominic Young's first try, Victor Radley's involved again, soft hands. Radley, Bateman, really good passing. For Dom Young to score his try on 56 minutes. And then Dom Young's intercept try on 66 minutes. Very similar to Josh Adokar's, one of Josh Adokar's tries last night, long distance try. You're not going to stop Dom Young when he's got at full pace like that. And that was the French Pelissier. That's overplaying. Really overplaying. A kick through would have been a better idea for for the winger, not the Harbour Bridge pass because Dom Young is 6'7". Although Lecam, the French back row forward, he's a similar height, but taller. He's 6'9". So there are some very tall players in this World Cup, but that was the wrong option by Pelissier. Dom Young, that's a one-handed catch. He's following that. He's caught that like a wide receiver in the NFL, and he's gone. You're not catching him. Fully deserved. He first half he was quiet because England were going down Ryan Hall's side. They decided to give Dom Young a little bit more involved in the game, and then obviously Artur Romano. That is Gigo's creation. Gigo can be hot, can be cold, can be a bit off the boil. He wasn't at his best against Greece, and he made a few mistakes today. He's one of those impulsive players. He's the rugby league equivalent of like a David Ginola or an Eric Cantona, where on his day he can be brilliant, he can be very hit and miss, but my God, he's unpredictable. He creates that try. England looked a little bit tired at that point, and Artur Romano, I mean, look, that's great wing play. He's held his width. I don't know where Ryan Hall's gone. He's disappeared. I think that's something. They're obviously the defensive line's disjointed. Gigo has broken some tackles and has got into space, and Romano's held his width and he's in space, and he's well found, and it's a very, very good try. Archibald converts that. The Lange disallowed try, I'm surprised that wasn't given as a penalty try because Tompkins is trying to kick it. He's led with his legs rather than his arms to dislodge the ball, make the put down more difficult. Yes, he's technically knocked it on, but Sam Tompkins, I think, is lucky, in my opinion, going by precedent that we've seen. They take a very dim view in Super League and the NRL when you try and stop a try with your legs or your feet. We've seen a few incidents over the last couple of years where there has been serious injury as a result. I think the French could be a little bit frustrated that may not have been given as a penalty try, but he didn't control the ball on the put down. So it's a 50-50, although I have been seeing them given as penalty tries because Sam Tompkins is trying to stop the ball with his feet. Some other incidents, injuries. Callum Watkins, that was a nasty looking concussion. Innocuous as it so seemed when there was that little head clash. But it didn't look good. The French players straight away knew he wasn't right. He basically collapsed in the play of the ball. He looked wobbly when he got up, but when he went to play the ball, the French players just grabbed him to get him down to ground safely. Medical team on straight away. He did not look good going off. Lengthy stoppage. He's not going to play the next game. He won't pass the protocols. He may not even. He may miss longer. That was a nasty-looking concussion. Tom Burgess got a sin bin right at the end as well for an off-the-ball incident. Not much in it. Pelissier's obviously, there's been a tackle, it's off the ball, the ball's gone, and he's look, it's a soft one. By old school standards, that's nothing. But he has struck the player with a forearm or a hand. Pelissier, look, he's an irritant. Tom Burgess has a short fuse, has a reputation of getting suspended. We've seen this before with him. He's cost himself because it's on report and he's been sin-binned. Oleski as well for a hip drop style kind of tackle, chopping the legs out earlier in the game as well. He's also gone on report, so there could be a few suspensions coming out of this game. But the French were finishing on top, and the French had spells. This is a very talented young French side. On the England side of things, I think, yes, the win is fantastic. They've scored, over 100 points now in 2 games. So in attack, they are looking brilliant, but there have been those defensive lapses and that loss of intensity and some silly areas that were unnecessary considering where they were and the position they were in. Just not being accurate enough at times, and that loss of intensity and focus for about 15-20 minutes in the game in both halves together will be a slight concern, because if Tonga or New Zealand or Australia in the latter stages of the tournament, for example, if that happens in the semi-final or final, if England progress past the quarter-final stage, they're going to need to iron those things out. They have got a lot of young players in this side, talented players. The French, I think the future for French Rugby League is looking good. I like, look, Artur Morg's try and Artur Romano's try were both off-the-cuff tries, brilliant, unpredictable tries, which I like to see, that French laissez-faire style. They're still young, they're still developing, but they look exciting. Individual players, I can see Artur Morg maybe ending up in the NRL possibly, or at another Super League club and playing at a high level for a very, very long time. He's exceptionally talented. His all-round game is still not there yet. He's still very raw. But hey, you never know. I think he could be possibly that first French player that makes that shift over to the NRL, and that would be fantastic for French Rugby League. I do hope that happens. But there we go, England. The scoreline is comfortable, but the French made it difficult for them. It was a contest. It was feisty, and no quarter was given by either side. There were some big collisions, and yes, Tom Burgess has had a silly sin bin, and by the letter of the law, yes, he's off. However, 10, 15 years ago, that is a nothing incident. Of course, the old bring back the Biff argument, there was a couple of flashpoints that could have ended up 10, 15 years ago. That's a full-on brawl. Fans love it, but when you're trying to trap those new fans, those families, that sort of can be a bit off-putting for some fans. But I like that aggression. The French were not backing down, the English weren't backing down, but Tom Burgess, silly simply. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Please place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll have some more videos for you soon. And coming up next is Jamaica versus New Zealand. Can Jamaica get their first try in Rugby League World Cup history? And New Zealand, I mean, what team will they put out? How much rotation have they made? And can they carry on their momentum from that game against Lebanon? Because they were challenged by Lebanon, and they are the favourites for this tournament. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all very, very soon.